Rebecca has stopped by the newspaper to check in on a story Mr. Woodring is printing in this week's newspaper. The story is ready to go. White Eagle and I have been printing it all day. And if you would like, you can have the very first copy.
Well, thank you so much. This is the first newspaper story I've ever written.
Well, getting help from the town librarian was a great idea. Let's go inside and see how it's doing. All the information we found on Mount Rushmore at the library was perfect for this project. Thanks to you, Rebecca.
Well, it was fun to work on a real newspaper story. And you and White Eagle are such interesting characters to work with. Besides, Mount Rushmore is a beautiful place to see and write about. A place anyone would want to visit.
High on a mountainside in South Dakota's Black Hills are the carved faces of 4 American presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt. Together they are the world's largest sculpture. The project began in 1925 and was not finished until 1941. For 16 years, John Borglum was the artistic force behind the carving of Mount Rushmore. Working in his studio, Borglum shaped a small-scale model. His plan was to make a smaller sculpture exactly the way it would be carved on the mountain, giving him a good idea of just where to blast out and drill the rock. Drilling and blasting away rock from the mountain was dangerous because the men had to hang from cables over the side of the mountain hundreds of feet above the ground below. One false move or mistake and it would be your last.
These pictures are wonderful. It's amazing how you can fit them all into a newspaper.
Well, if White Eagle handles that, I'm not sure. It's something about magic. Working first with dynamite charges, then with drills, and finally smoothing the figures with air hammers, the workers removed 450,000 tons of rocks during 6.5 actual years of carving. Impressive from any angle, Mount Rushmore's sculpture symbolizes the birth and trials of the first 150 years of the United States. Individually, they represent the ideals of the nation. George Washington signifies the struggle for independence and birth of our country. Thomas Jefferson, the ideals of our government. Abraham Lincoln, the union of the states and equality for all citizens. And Theodore Roosevelt, the 20th century role of the United States in world affairs.
Mr. Woodring, you and White Eagle have done an outstanding job. Thank you for asking me to help. And please, don't forget to use the library. It's there for you, and all you need is your library card. Goodbye.
Mr. Woodring and White Eagle stood there quietly as she left. And then Mr. Woodring looked at White Eagle and said, "Well, I don't have a library card." And White Eagle said,
"What is a library card?"